Hi, 8th grade. We're going to be talking about chapter 16, but first our joke. Katie Colvin says, a skeleton walks into a bar and orders a drink and a mop. Okay, real quick, our schedule. So we're going to jump into chapter 16 now. Hopefully you're watching this video on Friday. Next week, our chapter 16 quiz is going to be on Thursday. We're going to really kind of do this chapter pretty quickly, which shouldn't be a problem. There's, it's important, but it's not a ton of material. So we're going to have our test, our chapter 16 quiz on Thursday. The reason for this is because I want you guys to be able to we have our unit test after that, which encompasses the last 4 chapters. And I don't want that hanging over your head over Easter break. I remember when we came back from Christmas, we kind of forgot a couple of chapters and our unit test was a little bit more difficult. I want you to jump right in and be able to take this unit test before we break for Easter. So our unit test will be the following Tuesday. So that'll give you Thursday after the test, after the chapter 16 quiz, Friday, the weekend, and Monday to study. There will be no new material. We'll just be studying for the unit test at that point. So the unit test will be the following Tuesday. Okay, another public service announcement. You must get these assignments handed in on time. As I've said about 20 times, I cannot accept late work. The reason for this is because if I'm giving you the answer the day after this stuff is due, I'm not going to accept the assignment after I've given you the answer. So you really need to be getting this stuff done. If there's some circumstances that would cause you to not be able to hand it in on time, you have to let me know, or ask mom and dad to let me know. Otherwise, you're going to keep receiving zeros on your, and most of you are doing great, handing everything in on time. But there are a couple of you who I think this is coronication, and are not really doing much work, and you need to get on these assignments. Okay, so chapter 16. The title is Seeking a Common Prayer, but really I think it's more about finding unity among Christians. So we're finally moving to America. We've been talking a lot about the start and spread of Christianity in Europe, but now we bring it home and we read about how it began in the United States. You're going to read about John Carroll, who was the first Catholic bishop in the United States and actually signed the Declaration of Independence. You'll read a little bit about him. You're going to learn about the spread of Catholicism. Catholicism spread in the United States between the 16th and 18th centuries, first through the Spanish and French missionaries. So, for example, on his second voyage to the New World, Christopher Columbus brought back Spanish Franciscans with him. And Saint Junipero Serra, which I'm sure I'm still not pronouncing that correctly, was a Spanish Franciscan missionary who settled 9 missions in California. Jesuits from France also brought Christianity first to Canada and then down into the northern United States. So, you're going to read about how Christianity kind of grows. But I think one of the most significant parts of this chapter is that even though many people fled to America to escape religious persecution, like for example, many people came from to escape the Church of England, so that they could come to America and they could practice their faith any way that they so choose, practice whatever religion they wanted to practice. Even though they came to have that opportunity, they continued to persecute Christians, or Catholics rather. Catholics were distrusted, they were often persecuted. You'll read about how it wasn't until the ratification of the United States Constitution, and specifically the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments. The First Amendment really ensures the free existence and expression of religions. And it wasn't until then that Catholics really kind of started to get the freedom to express their faith. You think that might be an answer, and it's certainly better than oppression, but unfortunately it still doesn't unify the Christians. It kind of gives a religious pluralism, which means the coexistence of religions. But we really, as Catholics, strive for the unification of all Christians, and we still don't have that. You're going to read about the growth of the U.S. Church, the plenary councils of Baltimore, and how they helped to set up the norms of religious practice, specifically with regard to religious education. And you're going to read about the Second Vatican Council and the ways that they address the church's adaptation in the modern world, such as the use of vernacular in Mass. We've talked about this several times, vernacular being using the native language in Mass, native to the region that you're in. There are 2 individuals highlighted in our chapter. Father Ferdinand Farmer, who came from Europe and helped minister to Catholics in the colonies, a lot of times in secret, and Saint Rose Philippine Duchesne, who was a sister from France who came to America, and she opened schools and orphanages, both for the children of pioneers and for Native Americans, which was just undone, not done at that time. Okay, so that's our chapter. Make sure that you are reading the chapter and highlighting, and I will be sending you the guided reading so that you can get a jump start on that. That will not be due until Monday night, but I will probably send it on Friday, just in case anybody's bored over the weekend and wants to get started on it. Okay, happy reading. Have a nice weekend.